What's going on, everyone? Hit pause back for the next part of this tutorial, and if you remember in the last one, we painted it up. We threw some details on it, bump maps and things like that. We did the specular here, which is pretty basic, to be honest. Could do a little more to it. I may or may not. To be honest, it's kind of fine as is. The mag probably needs some specular work, but what I wanted to try now was to see about cleaning up the actual lighting by making a normal map. Now, doing that, I'm gonna basically get this guy out of the way. Let's unhide all. Let's say no there. Let's go ahead and put this back here. Isolate it. Boom. Okay. So this is my weapon that's going in the game, right? 4500 polys. Looks very nice and clean. Now, what I want to do is don't need to sculpt the barrel or the trigger or the bolt or this plastic or anything like that. I only need to sculpt the base. So, given that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this and I'm going to make it a copy. Okay, it's very important. I'm going to call this body sculpt. Okay, and let's just isolate that one. So I'm on body sculpt. It's not a instance, I can tell, because this is not bold. It's going to select the body, Control I, delete. Okay, now what I like to do sometimes is, if I were to subdivide this, okay, I'll just simulate that here. I probably just went too crazy there. 3 here. I end up with some rounding of some parts that I don't want to be rounded. Okay, let's go ahead and just apply a base material to this thing. Okay, while that looks good, I don't know if I really want to do this. Like, I don't know if I want to have that rounded or this rounded here. So what I could do is try and see what I get if I take these segments here and throw I always lose where it's supposed to be, right here, crease. Okay. And I need that crease too. Okay, so that maintains a nice clean cutout. And the same thing around this here. Okay, I kind of like that blend. I kind of don't like that blend, but I can live with that. I also need this segment here. Just double click it to get the whole loop, and we'll crease that. Okay. I may or may not want to crease this. Yeah, I think it's okay. Now, if I don't show isoline display here, it's probably going to crap out on me. I don't want to touch anything. Let me put that back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill Photoshop. I'm going to save this and I'm going to kill it because I need all the processing power I can get. I'm going to come off of this mode here and I'm going to convert to editable poly. Now I'm looking at 143,000 polygons. I'm hesitant to do this, but F4, okay? You see what I've done here. Oh, actually, let me undo that because I need to do that here too. Okay, I need a crease here, and I need these corners creased. Okay, I'm gonna temporarily turn that off so I can see. Okay, throw a crease there. And here. And I need this here because I want this to be hard edged. Okay, which means I'm going to need the other side as well. Nope. Just do them individually. I really wish crease was closer, but I can edit geometry down so I can keep them together for now. Alright. Okay, you can see that it kind of glitches out like around here, but if I crease that, these corners here, I can actually get that to look a little bit better. Okay. Let's come off of NURMS here. I do actually believe I need to crease these, or these are going to give me some really bad results in the normal map. Okay, which means I think I need to do these as well. Alright. Come off of here. It's hard to see sometimes when you've got the NURMS on. I mean, it's not that I don't like this curve. I really like it, but the problem is that I think it's gonna make my normal map look like really bad. So, Okay. So I'm doing my subdivision here in Max, not in Mudbox, because it's I have this control. Okay. And there's a problem with Mudbox. Does not seeing the seams it's supposed to. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll test that. Okay, I'll turn off nerves, but I still have all my crease values, right? So I'll take this and I'll export it. And I'll call this to Sculpt. Okay, and there's no crease options here, but I'll do another version that's going to be an FBX. Okay, and I don't want animation. Let's check here. We'll keep that. I don't really know what all of these options mean. Use binary 2013. I haven't fully played with these settings to see what's going on, but we'll just try that. Okay. So now we can go back to Mudbox and see what we get. But I'll show you the default technique that I normally use that does work. If these don't work. I don't expect them to. I don't expect the crease values to actually work. Okay, so we just hit open. Okay, let's try the FBX first. Notice there's nothing here. If I hit A, there's like nothing here. If I show the grid, okay, if I zoom in, it's like enormous. Right? It's totally enormous. Okay, way bigger than the OBJ. So that's already a problem, which means I can't even look at it from a good distance. But let's just check our options here. Turn them all on. Okay. Boundary rule, crease vertices and edges. We'll say crease edges. Preserve borders, crease hard edges, preserve creasing. Okay, and then we hit Shift D, and it does preserve the creasing, but not all of it. Right? Look how warpy and crappy that looks. Right? So let's do a new scene. So that doesn't work very well. And let's open the OBJ. Okay, notice good scale. Okay, nice scale. And let's check these options. Everything's set. And let's go ahead and subdivide. Oh, look. The creasing didn't work at all. No creasing. Okay, so both options blow. They suck balls. Big balls. So what I tend to do is subdivide it here. Go OBJ, HuntingRifle to Sculpt OBJ. Yes. Export. Done. Go back to Mudbox. Open that one. It should pop a warning. It's telling me that there's problems on my mesh. But I'll just not display those. Okay. Now if I look at the wireframe, you can see, we're looking at a lot of polygons, but here's the nice thing. Rebuild subdivision levels. It found 3 lower levels, and I can just go back down and I'm back to my original mesh. Except when I page up, I have my creased version. And now, as I subdivide further to say 1.1 mazillion polygons, okay, my creasing looks good, except it's actually even better because I have a slightly rounded chamfered edge. Okay, but again, my base mesh is not all ruined. So it's nice. It's very nice. So now I'm hoping I can see all that stuff is preserved. Now I do, like I said, get some oddities in these regions here, but I'm thinking I can probably just edit the actual normal map image. But see this nice highlight going down there? You know, it's much better. I love doing it this way. It's so much better. Alright, so I don't know if this is gonna work, so because I want a safety net in case I screw everything up, I'm going to create the sculpt layer. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm on sculpting. I'm using my sculpt. Okay, and my sculpt tool has a stamp applied, and the stamp that I have applied comes with Mudbox. You guys all have it. It is the wrinkle, and what it actually allows for is creating these kinds of shapes. Now it might not be the brush I want to use. I'm just going to try a couple of them. I'm going to try bulge, an opposite bulge. Okay, strength is way too high. Okay, let's try it nice and big but very light. Shrink it down, do it again, shrink it down, do it again. Okay, I actually want to thicken this up just a little bit, keeping it very light. Okay, I can smooth it out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the sculpt tool and I'm gonna trace the shape that I want it to follow, and then I'm gonna blend it just by blurring it on the inside of that. Okay, the other thing is right here. Now the wax tool is gonna pretty much destroy everything, even if I use a larger brush set really light. It's gonna destroy the shit. I mean, you can see it right here. It's just breaking everything. So wax tool is not a good idea. The fill tool might come in handy for evening this stuff out. Okay, if I keep a... Okay, remember, I'm just looking for normal map lighting shifts, alright? I'm not necessarily trying to shape this. I'm trying to get a bit of a sharper shift. Okay, let's go back to 1. Now, if I hold Control, I can actually create a like rim there, and again I can blur the outside of that. Okay, kind of trail that off a little bit, and then do the inside as well. Remember, the goal is I'm trying to make a lighting shift or lighting change. I'm not trying to shape. I don't really care if it's stuck in or whatnot. I just want that transition. Okay. Oops. Now the other tool that can come in handy is actually the scrape tool without a friggin' stamp on there. I got such a light touch here, it's ridiculous. Okay, then I blur, or smooth, I call it blur because that's what it's doing, it's blurring the height map that's being used here. Okay, real light. I could try pinching it, but I have a feeling that that's gonna semi-break what I'm doing. And then re-blur it to separate the polys there just a little bit to soften the curve. Okay. You want to check it from multiple different angles because bulges and things like that can show up. It can look good at the lighting angle that you got, but then you turn it and you can see that there's breaks in it. And you can also actually just hold L and shift the lighting around until you see an issue. See how I kind of feel like there's a bit of a dip right here, a bit of a bulge? This is slightly tedious and difficult because of the fact that I want to maintain a clean smoothature, and I don't want to hit something like flatten because that's gonna... By the way, I got flatten to not update its plane, so it actually continues to make it flat. Okay, and it's actually going to come in quite handy for doing something like this. Okay, which the gun actually has this. Alright. Now, I actually, in order to clean that up, I'm going to go ahead and subdivide it one more time. A smarter man would have closed down 3D Studio. Alright, now we'll try pinching again here, but this time when I do it, I'm going to throw on a steady stroke so that I can control this. Oh, it says I can't do it, so I got to go to my make a new layer. Okay, and then just kind of blend that out like so. Okay, and that will just transfer that detail to my model, and then I'll make sure that I'm smoothing it up here. Okay, I could... Grab tool can sometimes come in handy, but usually not. But you notice how when I do a grab, even though I'm just going to exaggerate it, it's actually a very smooth, nice transition. You see that? That's one of the bonuses of the grab tool. So let's... The other thing I could attempt is to freeze around here. Including the back. Okay, just widen that a little bit. This tool acts very slow and it makes sense that it would. Okay, and then I hold Control. Try to cut that out. Now whether or not this is going to do me any good, I don't know yet. But it's worth a try. Okay, it's kind of hard to keep it clean, but now I'll try the grab ass tool and just pull that in just a little bit. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I would need a much cleaner mask, and it's really kind of hard to do. But what I could do is there is a edit unfreeze. I'll Shift U. There is something I could try. It would be on a new layer. I could try the grab tool, set to relatively large, and just pull that down like so. Okay, so I bent it, you know, obviously, but now I'm going to mask that. Okay, and I use the mask tool. You see how I can bring it up back to what it was? The mask tool is kind of breaking in it. But the good thing about the mask tool is that I can go back and forth on it. I wonder if there's a way for me to flood the whole layer. Yeah, I'm just going to flood it. That should take a moment. Wow, weird. So, build up of 100 and flood it. So basically this should just erase the layer, and I think it's going to be quicker for me to bring it back in. There we go. Okay, so let's put the build up back to 40. Alright, and now let's check my fall off. It's very low. I actually want to, I think, customize this a little bit and make it even lower. Like that. Okay, so now I need to hold Control, and you can see that I can essentially get back my dip. Now, like I did mention that I don't think that this shit's gonna work very well. I gotta go real slow too. It's kind of annoying. Because if I go fast, the brush just skips around. Yeah, I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that this ain't gonna frickin' work. but it might if I can get a decent shape out of it. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so I got some weird crap going on here. But the thing is I'm gonna save my scene here just in case something goes really bad. Okay, HuntingRifle sculpt, because I want to try merge visible. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer and then try merge visible because I don't want the mask anymore. Alright, and now I might be able to say hit this with the fill brush to help blend this. I'm kind of just exploring a method for doing this at this point. It's actually an important part of learning, right? It's trying stuff. You gotta try stuff. Okay. It's choppy and chunky and noisy, but if I keep a relatively steady pace at it, I think I might be able to get this. I just might. Okay, keeping real light. I'm going to go with a lighter fall off. Okay, it's cleaning up a little bit so far. Now I may try a Rake Tool. I like the curve here, it's nice, and I just want to bleed into it. I don't want to lose that. I don't want like a sharp edge. Alright, let's see what smoothing gives me now. I'm going to get quite a bit of bulgy crap. Okay, the smooth tool, by the way, can actually kick up a notch higher than 100. Whether or not that has any effect on stuff, I couldn't tell you, couldn't guarantee it. But let's just see if that even is doing anything. I'm gonna try 1,000. Oopsie. It does seem to be somewhat better, but just so you know, you're not limited to those numbers. The bar, okay? You can type in and go further. Okay, it's still a little warpy. But it's getting there, I think. Okay, let's try a Rake Tool. A Rake Tool is going to be scrape using a stamp of something like this. Okay, and in this case, you don't want to randomize it. Now, if I do the scrape, you can see that's going right down the line, right? I actually want to have that go horizontally, like so. You see that? Okay. And I want my strength to actually be really, really light. And I just scrub across, and I'm creating imperfections in the surface that I'm hoping can then be blended back. See how my smooth tool has a much more dramatic effect after doing that? So you just scrape it a little bit and then blur it. Okay, like right here, scrape that some and then blur it. And it can sometimes help clean things up. But again, I'm feeling a little warpy still. I feel there's a bulge here. I'm actually going to kick up the strength of the scrape tool to 3. Okay, I'm going to hit this area here. Kind of hard, actually. Having a little bit of issue getting rid of this line right here. It's not really wanting to cooperate. But as you can see, it's a lot cleaner now. The lighting is not that broke. There's a bit of an edge there. So the scrape theory is the same thing as real sculpting. You basically impart imperfections and then smooth them over, and it tends to fill the surface in better. Because you've just basically, you know, interjected a bunch of noise. And it's really cool that this kind of thing actually works digitally as well. Alright, let's start moving the light around. I mean, honestly, it feels pretty good. It feels pretty smooth, right? Could maybe smooth that just a little bit there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is save it, just in case. And now I'm going to try to okay, let's shrink that. Let me kick this up to 15 and we'll see if that's too dramatic. There's like a little lump right there I can't get rid of. So what I'm doing is kind of just pulling this whole blend down this way some. Okay, now the other thing I could attempt, I don't think this is going to work very well, for almost certainly, is flatten. However, I want to update the plane constantly so that it's basing itself off of the surrounding surface at all times. Okay, and then let's go back to scraping her. Okay, so we'll just impart the imperfections. I need to shrink the brush because of the length of the curve here. Alright, and then let's blur. Yeah, I don't think it's all that horrible. It's not great. But I don't want to spend 75 years on it or nothing. And everything else, pretty much just stay what it is. I don't need to sculpt anything on it. I suppose I could come in and now at this point and maybe hit it with the knife tool. And make some cuts, but the knife tool needs to, let's see if I go that way. That way, and it needs to be really light. Yeah, what's the spacing on this thing? Do you want it to follow the direction? Okay, I'm actually going to try the Sculpt Tool instead. I don't really have the polygon count. Yeah, I kind of don't have the poly count for this kind of operation. I would have needed to cut it up quite a bit more before I brought it in here. But in areas like here, I can just make little nicks here and there. Might as well add something, I guess, huh? Now the Sculpt tool is dipping in and pinching together, and the reason for that, again, is because I am using this wrinkle brush stamp. Okay, which means if I go real big, you can see that it kind of pinches in. So I mean, if I wanted to, you know, I could actually add, you know, some like detail style stuff like this kind of thing, but I don't want to do that. I just want to add a couple of nicks. That's already stretched out. I can't really go too far. We'll do it in the rubber too. Only on the corners as well for the most part. Not going too crazy. I don't know if I should pass over that like that. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it does not want to perform right there. Poly count right here is relatively low, even though I'm at a, if I hit page up here, you can see I'm at 4.6. If I go any higher, I'm going to be looking at like 12 million. It's just, my system's just going to explode. It won't work well at all. I don't care about anything inside here because that just gets painted void. Okay, again, down the length here, I don't have much that I can do, but I'm pretty sure I got some poly count up here that I can mess with. Let's do the old raptor claw. Dinosaur hit it. Actually, it's a rat scratch. It's got rat scratch fever. Okay. The theory of this scratch, by the way, is you do a short, curved one. You kind of, basically what you want to do is you want to fill it in. Let me put it in a place where I can actually draw it. So, like if you start here, you kind of want to fill it in a shape like this. So this would be your first scratch, then your second scratch, and then your third scratch, right? But what you also want to do is kind of go like this. Start on one side of it. So these are the three scratches. 2, 3. But this is the theory. So these are in line, but it can be a curve. These are in line, but it can be a curve too. Okay? So I do like that, and then like that. And again, like I'm trying to follow a curve to here, and then follow a curve to here, and it looks good. Now sometimes like you can do like this short and then long too. So it's like the creature was actually trying to swipe with 2 claws. The third claw just kind of made a graze. Okay. I mean, you can put as much thought into it or as little as you want. It's up to you guys. I like to put thought into stuff. But I've actually had to do dinosaur, like specifically dinosaur slashes for some of the game boxes that I had to make, and you gotta actually like conceptualize what's actually happening. So here, what I want to do is real subtly just kind of cross-hatch this part. And now I'm going to go a little bit random, real fast and random, because this has hit right here very specifically. I'm keeping very light, by the way. Just kind of crisscrossing in random directions. Basically 2 different diagonals. Also trying to do a few verts, and a couple horizontals can help too. Just trying to go in all directions here. So you can see I'm just trying to make that this has been hit right here thousands of times. Okay. Every time somebody falls over and they use the gun to brace themselves, every time they place it on the surface, I mean, millions of reasons why this has happened. This right here scraped through the gravel. I'm not trying to suggest with everything that's been swiped by a fucking velociraptor, you know, I mean, that's not even fit my theme or anything. But if you were making a dino themed game, you could put these kinds of scratches on trees and stuff, and it would help. It would sell pretty well, I think. Nobody's gonna really complain. Okay, now the other thing is I might want to try just making some actual pocks here and there. Where it's actually just been thwacked. There's 2. You can use the wax tool for that. You can actually use the scrape tool for that. It's a pretty good one, but I would not use the stamp image. But you can just scrape it in parts. So you do like this, just do a few parts, and that helps make it look like it's been kind of beaten. It's really good for making like if you wanted to do like a hammered metallic surface, like say like a medieval axe or something, you want it to look like it had been hammered, just do like these kind of interlocking circles using the wax and scrape tool. And this, you know, this bang 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 bang, you know, it's where the blacksmith's been whacking away at it. And you know, he's the blacksmith, he's not a computer lathe, you know, so he's got the he can only, you know, make it look so clean, and depending on the, you know, the skill of the blacksmith is how much he hides that kind of thing in his work. But the orcs from Lord of the Rings just like bang bang bang, and they're like, hey, it's done, you know, and then they're good to go. Yeah, things like this. Big kind of dance. I just, you know, I'm here. I might as well do something. So I could maybe. And again, this is just going to be normal map detail, so it's not going to change the shape or nothing. See, I'm hoping that maybe I can fix some of these issues by adding my own like crap to it. For instance, maybe that would help here. But kind of probably not, where it's been beaten up. I don't know if this kind of thing is even going to translate or work. It's probably too low res in the normal map anyway. Okay. I don't think I have the reso for doing it here. Plus I don't really want to break that part anyway. Let's bang up the back of this thing. So, the thing you want to do, your goal, I don't know, whatever your goal is, but my goal is to always, hopefully, take the whatever I'm doing to the level of appreciation is basically what it is. It's not like I'm like starving for attention, but what I want is I want people to feel like somebody didn't just, basically stand over their hard drive and squat out the quickest thing that they could on the game, that, oh, we just made a, I just colored it blue and black, it's a rifle done, it's got a cylinder and a square and I'm done. That's not, to me, that's not my goal for making the game. There's two things I want to do with the game. I want to tell, well, there's probably about 3,000 things, but some of the things I want to do is I want to tell the story, I want to give the experience, and I want to make an art piece, I want it to look good as I can, given, a reasonable amount of time. I can't spend forever on it, obviously, or it'll never be done. I could still be working on the first object of the entire game 7 years later, and I could still, find new things to add to it to make it look better or more realistic or something. There's no end, There's no end in sight to how much you can do. And given that, I'm done. That was my precursor to saying, God, I'm tired of this. No, I'm not tired of it. I need to end it. Okay, so now here's the thing. We need to pray that this is going to work. So we need to page down all the way back to our base layer. Okay, all those details are gone. All of them. And we go to Maps, Extract, New, Normal Map. Okay. So I'll go ahead and pull this into view so y'all can see. And we want this to be level 6 as the source. We'll say use creases and hard edges because we might as well. I don't know if that's going to make it look better or worse. We want subdivision. In my country. I don't have a joke for that. Alright, so then we'll come here and come back here to HuntingRifle, and I'll put it here as a TGA, and we'll call this HuntingRifle NM. Preview as a normal map is pointless. The reason for that, I'll show you guys why. It's actually hilarious. Freaking Mudbox. I don't get it. This program is just, it's good, but it's just rife with oddities. You can preview it as a normal map, but Mudbox doesn't know how to display its own normal maps. It's retarded. So we'll extract and I'll pause. You see what I mean? My Mudbox not knowing how to display its own normal maps? Like, look at, I mean, it does this on like everything. It's got like no clue. I think, by the way, on accident, that yeah, I did. I made that a 4096. Oopsie. But that's okay. We can check and we can shrink that down in Photoshop. It actually allows it to grab more detail. Okay. So I can now just go image size and make that a 2048. Alright. So I don't know how well it's going to work. I honestly don't. Some of the stuff looks not very good at all. But we'll see. It's not going to find that for me, so let's go to UDK, development source, rats game, content, weapons, hunting rifle textures, okay, and hunting rifle NM, 24-bit. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is actually undo, get rid of the NURMs. This is my original body. I just want to test this normal map and see what I'm looking at because I kind of don't know. So let's go recent places and I go to textures and just back up one time and then hit ASE file. I'll keep it as a scale test because I really don't care if I'm replacing that. It's just a mesh that's whatever. Let's pop open UDK. Okay. I can close that. I mean, some of the stuff looks like it's there correctly, but I don't know. See, like that right there, being that from that view, that might not look good at all. That might not even be worth having that detail in there. So let's go save scene. I'll minimize this. Let's go to UDK. It's still opening, huh? Pause while that happens. Now this may or may not work. I couldn't tell you. So I do have the hunting rifle here. So let's go ahead and fully load that. And I don't know why my UDK does this, where it moves my thing. Okay, so we import no alpha, TC normal map. Actually, I think I hit OK. It doesn't matter, I can move it anyway. Plus it's not the final normal map anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Okay, let's re-import that. That should get rid of the barrel and everything. Alright, let's make a material. And I'll go ahead and not be stupid and make a... Alright, pop that open. Okay, I want to get the mesh in here. Okay, I'm going to go about 0.8 on my color here. You can see there's that. And let's cross our fingers. Let's get rid of it. It does a little bit better. Okay, let's move the lighting around and turn on the normal. Okay. So there's that dip we sculpted in, and if I get rid of the normal, it pretty much looks like ass, but if I stick it in, it looks better. The normal map is actually compressing, by the way. Notice that. This is like not advisable for like normal use, but you can actually say compression none. Okay, and it doesn't do that anymore. Got a bit of a seam showing up there, but I think the noise will help hide that. Let's try to take a look at the back of the rifle. It's like rotating me in a weird way. Yeah, those details are there. That detail's here. Why is it moving me in such a weird way? Actually, this looks better here. The little nicks and things are decent. I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. So let's open the paint file. Okay, and we'll go to our paint layers. Export to PSD. So it's going to be HuntingRifle diffuse PSD. Save. Yes. Okay, there's that. Let's get our specular. Export channel to PSD. I don't have anything masked, right? I do have some masked stuff, so that's going to break. So I'll show you guys how to take care of that. Export channel to PSD, and that's going to be Specular. Okay. Come back here. Now here's the thing. I'm going to highlight bump here, or highlight one of these layers, and I'm going to solo this layer. And now I'm going to right click and I'm going to say merge visible, and that's the only thing visible. Okay, now I'm going to solo this layer that has a mask, and I'm going to do the same thing, because it does not bring the masks into Photoshop, which is stupid. Okay, export channel to PSD, and this will be bump. Bump. Save that. Okay, there she is. Alright, let's get this all together. So let's hide this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a complete duplicate of this. So I select them all, Control, Alt, and Shift, and E. And you can see that that is just its own layer. It's got everything on it. Okay, if I hide everything here, I still have my layers, but I got this extra one here. I just want to do Control, Shift, U, because I want to make sure that it's not got any color info in it. And I just hold Control on channels, grab it, move it to diffuse here, bring it into the view, then hold Shift, and then let go of the mouse. Dump my alpha and add that. And there's the alpha channel. If I compare that to the specular here, they're identical. Okay. Alright, I need to hide this. And that's all I want to do for now. So let's go TGA here. And let's go put that in these textures. So there's the normal map. Here's the diffuse. Okay, this 32-bit has an alpha channel. Okay, our bump map. The thing is I have the plastic bump, and to be honest, it's here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There is noise there. But it's very faint. The 2% in Mudbox is very faint compared to like what you'll get out of something else. So I tend to use 10% when I actually go to make my stuff. Now, I want to show my wire here because I'm wondering if there's a way I can clean this up. Number one, I kind of want to move it. Number two, out of curiosity, I'm wondering if I could make a sharper, better version. At least it's more cylindrical. Is there anything else I really want to do? Okay, this here, I'm going to lock my layer, and I don't want that as dark as it is. Okay, in fact, I just want it to knock out. Actually, I want to make it a little bit darker than that. I do want it to dip down just a little bit, like that. But what it does is it gets rid of the noise in that location, so it looks better. It's more like a laser etch than it is like an actual chunk cut out of the thing. Now this thing here is on this layer and this layer here. Okay, so if I solo this layer, what else is on this layer? All that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new layer here because I want to redo this thing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make a very angular selection. I'm going to do it down what I feel is a little bit more even to the surface of the model. Okay, and I'm going to fill that with black inside these layers, and again I'm going to use that other trick. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, 16 pixels, and then filter, sharpen, unsharp mask with everything blasted out. And then I'm going to hit that again. And see how much of a nicer shape I got now? Compared to this there, where I tried to hand draw it like a dummy McDummerson. Alright. Okay, now I'm not sure. I'm just checking here. Double click my layer. Pattern overlay. I can't remember if I did. I did add this hexagonal pattern here. Okay, that's about right. And I'll do, if I do overlay, it's gonna be gone. But if I do normal and I screen it back like that, that should be okay. And then I can also stroke that like so, a little bit raised up from the hexagons and not so thick. Okay, let's try a stroke emboss, not use a global light, and what you want to do is you actually want to stick that right in the middle and then kill the size. Depth all the way up. And see what that does? Kind of gives you like a bit of a double line. If I zoom in here. Okay, size, we'll try 3. This is completely gone, by the way. This is the only thing that has any effect. So I will make it just a little bit darker than the rest. Okay, I'm going for subtle here. Alright. And now what I can, that's probably good at that point there. I don't want to push it. Now the Winchester logo, I'm wondering, I'm wondering if I put that in new, if it's going to do a better job of rasterizing, basically. So I'm going to put the R there to match, and then I'm going to move my center of transformation to there, and hold Alt and Shift and drag that out. Now it's going to be a little weird. And let's just check quality. It's not a lot different because it's still about the same size. The Mudbox did a decent job of placing it. Let's see, where is the Winchester logo? It's there. So what I'm going to do is sample these two colors. So I'm going to click that color and then hit X, and then click that color. So I got the two tones, and I'll just mask that out in case I want to bring it back. I don't want to delete it. Now my Winchester logo's here. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to fill with the lighter color, and then I'm going to make a selection here and fill with the darker color. Then I'm going to inverse that and unlock it and go Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Now I don't want to do 16, but I'm thinking maybe 1 pixel, maybe 2. Yeah, we'll go with 1. Okay. Other than that, I don't think that there's much else I really need to do to this thing. Okay. So now I want to get a normal map out of this, so I'm going to select all these layers, Control Alt Shift and E, so I make a duplicate. Okay, you can see that actually cleans up this here. Not on a zoom, but because this is actually showing a pattern, and when you zoom out, it's like trying to make the high-res image lower res on the fly. So once you collapse it, it looks a lot better. X normal, height to normal, so that comes with the X normal that you can find on the internet. Okay, just hit continue. There we go. Now I need to open my original normal map. Okay, and I want to take this layer and I don't have much room here. Bump. Okay, so I'm going to take this layer and stick it over here. Alright? Now what I need to do to combine these is quite simple. I need to make a duplicate of it. On this first one, I need to go to the channels, and on the blue here, I need to do 50% gray. However, I like to do 60% gray. Just fill that in on the blue channel. Come back to RGB, hide that, select this one. On the red, I'm going to fill with white. And on the green, I'm going to fill with white. My blue should still have a little bit of stuff here. Okay, quite faint, but it's there. Okay, and now what I do is I set this one to multiply and set this one to overlay. That interferes, doesn't it? Bark! So, shit. Given that, I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to drag my normal map to my bump layer. I'm actually going to put it as my base, and I'm going to need to delete this because I can't use it anymore. Okay. I want to isolate this one and this one together. And I'm going to make this one be about 30%. Okay. Now I'm going to use my pen tool here, and I want to kind of try to match this curve like so. And now I should, if I select it, be able to say make selection. I'm not going to feather it, but I do want it anti-aliased. And now I can use that to mask this. Okay. And now just using my general photo brush tools, I will kind of, this is on normal. Okay, it is working. And I just want to go like that. Okay, the other thing I could, if I want, actually increase this thing. To go all the way here, which means I need to get some white back in. Oops. Okay. Just going to kind of fill the shape in like all around here. So if I hide this, you can see that I basically have just blanket statemented the shape, right? It's just everywhere encompassing that. And there's parts some of it I genuinely don't need, but I do not want to use the eraser tool. So now I have the ability to come here and fill this in all the way to here. Just shift click, hit X to be on black, and then go this way. Now I want to trim this there, and then come back a little bit to there. Okay, so that, now matches the shape of the underlying normal map, and I think it's going to be better. So I can just hide that, grab that, all of this stuff. This goes away. Where is the rest of it? I'm just going to delete that. I know I don't want it. And I don't know if there's anything else on that layer, but I'm just going to delete that. If I hold control, no pixels selected, so good, dump. Okay, let's get all of this, Control Alt Shift E, filter, height to normals. Okay, let's bring that back over here. Boom, we can dump these two. All right, make a dupe on the first one, which will be my overlay. I'm going to fill the blue channel with that 60% gray. Okay. On my next one, which will be my multiply, I'm going to add white to red and white to green. Leave blue alone. Set that to multiply. Set that to overlay. There we go. Combined. Okay. Not JPEG. And we just overwrite it, which I'm hoping it allows me to do. Yeah, it should, because I'm on my own layer. Okay. Now I did quite a bit to my bump map, so I'm going to save it. I didn't do anything to the specular, so I don't care about that. But the diffuse, I added the alpha channels. So I'll go ahead and save that. Who cares? Okay. Let's go back to 3D Studio. I can delete this sculpt version. Let's take our entire rifle here and export that. And we'll keep it as scale test. We don't care yet. We're still fiddling. And we'll come here and re-import that. We'll re-import that. And we will import our diffuse. Keep everything standard. I put it into mesh again, but I'll move them both. Doesn't make a difference. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Alright, and we can just drag that in here. You see here's the whole weapon. We replace the diffuse texture now. We can throw specular to here. And the normal map is there. Okay, the specular, this is really weird that I'm all turned around. So I'm gonna apply that material. I'm going to open up my mesh, and I'm going to grab that material and stick it on there and see how she looks. Quite decent. If you check the bumps, just turn the lighting here. Okay, all that's working. It's a little hard. You can see there's my logo. There's In Cheese We Trust. Point away from face should be showing up. By the way, this is really hard to navigate. Yep. Point away from face right there. Okay. Plastic is maybe a little shiny. Could be a little duller than that. The metal looks pretty metal. I do need to make either a reflection mask or turn my specular into a reflection mask. So I'll probably tune that in the next video. Let's just see what she looks like placed in some lighting here. And as a scale test, okay, normal maps are showing up. The dirt might be a little overbearing. I should probably back that off some, but I got layer control, easy enough. That seam didn't exactly go away, but I'm not overly concerned. It's on the other side of the gun anyway. Let's turn her this way and take a look. That's working out pretty cool there. Very subtle. Nothing wrong with subtle. This detail here, I didn't even know I kept it in, but whatever, who cares? It is officially there. Alright, and maybe shooting down the barrel. You're not going to really be able to see the red here, but it is there. Okay, I need to boost the specular amount to be a little bit hotter, and at the same time dull the plastic. So I can probably do some level adjustments on the specular level layer, or the alpha channel, which is the specular channel. But she don't look too bad. Some of these bumps and stuff are there. And you can see that the normal maps, they display properly here, you know, which is a huge bonus. I can't tell you how long it took me when I was first trying to sculpt and bake normals and then display them in Mudbox. It was driving me insane. I was like, oh my god, I got a bit of a seam here, but not that big of a deal. I thought, yeah, I kept retrying all these different baking options. I was checking the sculpt, checking the UVs. I re-UV'd it 10 times. I mean, I tried freaking everything. Oh, by the way, I forgot to void this stuff here. You're not supposed to be seeing any lighting in here like you are. Like that. It's supposed to be black. Easy enough. Okay, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Definite difference in the surfaces. And there's nothing stopping me from doing like a, you know, a wooded camo version or something like that. That would just be in the diffuse. If I were to make a wood version, I would need to adjust the specular channel. So that would require a whole new texture with a new alpha channel and everything. But yeah, it's not too bad. I don't totally hate it. Okay, I need a logo on here, by the way. Ratco should do me good there. That looks good. Yeah, boy, that's me. And by the way, this has been my logo for like 15 years, 20 years, since before the invention of fire, back in the year 0. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, I ain't hating it. So hopefully you guys like it so far. I still have to do the scope, so that'll be fun. Actually, the scope's going to be even more simple and more boring than the gun. So hopefully you're looking forward to that. I don't want to sell it badly, but man, it's not going to really have anything on. It's going to be black. Anything more is going to just be like doing stuff to it for no reason. I probably put some logos and things on it, so that's about as far as that's going to go. So yeah, it's good, yeah. That looks good, I think, that dip. I think that looks about right. Like I said, I think that dirt's a little powerful, so I could probably multiply that back a little bit, and also tone it back. Okay. In some angles it's like overbearing the normal map itself. Maybe these normals I want to actually boost back up, because they're a little weak in UDK. Mudbox tends to show things a little stronger, but it tends to show it at a 1%. Also, this is dipping. This is actually bulging out, and I think I want to invert it to dip in. That's kind of weird. It's kind of got like a dip in it. I don't know. I don't hate that. Did the divots and stuff come through? Scratches? Remember, I kind of lower resed it, so the noise does slightly degrade the rest of the normal map, you know? Only the deeper gashes really are showing up that much, but it does affect the general lighting. You can see it right there. Okay. It looks okay, I think. I like. So, hit pause, signing off. Thanks for watching. I may need to take a little bit more out of this guy here. Everything else I think is okay. I don't have any gloss control yet either, but that I can derive from the alpha. And if I'm really worried about it, I can add it to the alpha channel of the normal map and save myself some, or add a whole new texture that's a completely separate gloss and reflection map, you know, if I wanted to. But none of my guns have that. They're not that crazy. I know a lot of games do use that, but I've already stuck with not using gloss maps. But I do derive them, like I said, from my specular map. Sometimes I make adjustments. Just to do powers on them and things like that to isolate the areas that I need, and then go from there. It tends to work out okay. But yeah, a gloss map here will help a lot. It will break up some of this stuff. Also, I pretty much need to stick the dirt in the specular channel as well, because it's not being affected, and it should be darker here. Dirt is not shiny, you know, it's dusty and dull, so that's an easy fix. So with some minor edits and minor changes and stuff like that, it's going to look alright in the end, I think. So hit pause, signing off. Thanks for watching.